welcome to the World Tactical Racing League, number 69. We are out and back again. I'm Nathan Guerra, and Dave Towle is next to me, along with Scotty the Squirrel. He's still got Scotty over his shoulder there. We were chatting a little bit about Scotty hanging out. Dave is hanging out with me coming out of Colorado. We have got Team Time Trialing, a phenomenon that has been developed on Zwift by the World Tactical Racing League. We have the Premier League with a whole lot of racers out here today that are getting out on course. 42 kilometers, I want to say. Dave, I believe you're muted, just so you know. I think you're still muted on there. Thanks a lot, Dave. But a lot of hot competition heating up. And we already got the course records as well as the times that are coming in for the day so far. We'll be able to look over those as riders get out on course, Dave. But a lot of good competition today.
No doubt, Nathan. I'm like Pavlov's dog. When I hear that music, I can feel my energy level go up. It's going to be an exciting edition. So, yeah, you said 42K. We're on the out and back again course. What I love is that we've kind of leveled the playing field a little bit with the women's race. So just to give you a little background, Socks for Watts, this women's team has been on an absolute roll. Basically, of the last 3 months, they've won just about every time they've raced. Well, the entire team is not back for in real life racing. Some of the triathletes like Lizzie Duncombe are going to be competing this weekend. So we have a couple like Charlotte Backus and a couple of other riders are moving on to the Unicorns team. This is going to create a really exciting day. So, Nathan, a lot going on with the men too. It's a challenging course. We have a lot to look forward to today.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Let's go ahead. We're about to jump out on course here. We're waiting for a few of the teams to actually get on course. We'll be covering this week. We are in with the Frappes as well as the Viennas. And we are in with the Espressos. If you're unfamiliar with those categories, essentially we are covering the top fastest category for the men, the women's category specifically, that's going to be the Viennas and the Espressos, and then the Frappe would be the second fastest category out there. The other categories then being the lattes and the mochas, and that would be the C or D categories if you were going by Zwift categories. But WTRL has their own categories, and it has everything to do with developing this team time trial and why they have done that. Let's go ahead and jump right on in with the women out here today. Just as a heads up, I was wondering, Jamie Tracy, that is a great question, actually, and keep the questions coming on in. I actually asked this exact question of some of our athletes that we do have on camera today, as whether or not any of them did have a Sturzo. And anybody who does have a Sturzo, that would definitely change some things up, I would think, for the team time trial. So it'll be interesting to see how any kind of steering might affect things in the future, Dave.
Yeah, I saw that there was quite a bit of chatter on the internet about that. We did a race on Tuesday where it was James Bevan that was the first rider that we had witnessed deploying that. So there's a lot to talk about there. But Nathan, let me also welcome some of the riders that we're going to be in camera with today. It's very cool to have Monali Keller with us on the Wonder Women team. They're one of the team that's going to be in this competitive battle for the outright win today. Pamela Levine also joining us out of Northern California. And I believe we've got Daniel Pettinger as well. So that's going to be Monali Keller. Monali has really one of these lives that just blows my mind as far as the capacity that she has. She's a high-level employee at Microsoft. You know, V Win, she's works with V there. She'll be racing on the Wonder Women's team as well, but she's also a mom of 3, lives there in Seattle. Definitely a rider to watch every time that she is out there on the bike racing here. So that's Monali Keller that we're looking at. Nathan, I believe Miguel Amancio. We'll see if we're able to get in touch with the World Elite Zwift rider and Kristen Moat as well on one of our favorite teams, or my favorite teams for sure, 3R Fleetwood Mac. So welcome to all the riders that are going to be joining us. Teams getting organized. Nathan, this course is challenging. The time taken off of the 4th rider's wheel. So you'll see rarely, but teams will start with 4 riders, but typically 8-rider combine is what you're looking for. And Nathan, I'll throw it back to you as more teams getting out on course here today. It's going to be a long day. No doubt
Yeah,
about
just
it.
going
Expect
through
it.
with you each one of the riders that we do have on board as we find them out on course. So you can see as a good explanation of how the event works then is some of these riders then are waiting for, just like in a regular team time trial, you can see Christian Mote here hanging out in his pain cave, waiting for his turn to go. They're going to have a ride leader telling them exactly when to take off in order to start their time out on course, depending on where they are seated for this week. And all of these seeds actually for the Premier League that you are watching are based off of what place they got in that top 11 from the week prior. So race 3R out here today, if we do look, I believe they're going to probably be in the top 3 seeds actually, so they'll be going close to last out there today as we go through each one of these. So it does look like a few of the riders that we do have on board, though, are starting out their race out here. So we'll see if we can jump in with a few of them and see how things are developing. I do believe I see Pamela starting to pedal away a little bit. We'll see if we can jump in with her in just a moment here. But we'll jump back over to the espresso category and see how things are going with Daniel Pettinger.
Oh, great. So, Nathan, just so I'm not confused, Kristen Mote then is a guy racing for the 3R Fleetwood Mac
Yeah,
team.
Christian
Right.
Mote.
Okay.
Christian Mote. Yep.
Great. So, on paper, I assume that was a female. So now I know. All right, picking up the action here as again we are on board today with this team. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's always really cool when Nathan has the ability to check in with an athlete. So there you can see the Wattage Cottage right now. This team trying to organize themselves. They're right in the early part here. 1.3K in. So Nathan talking with the WTRL crew, the World Tactical Racing League. This course is a doozy. It sounds like the crux here is coming over the top of the climb with all your riders together to be able to take advantage of that, the blob, the flying blob, I guess we call it, on the way down from that volcano climb today. The reverse climb also will be a challenge, but it's really the volcano climb that packs the punch.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the main place that they're going to be looking toward to save energy for. I think so much time can actually be taken because of that volcano climb. So we'll have to wait and see how things end up playing out there. I think a lot of teams, they'll be putting in as much as they possibly can without completely throwing down the afterburners. But I think because of the reality of a gigantic volcano climb out there, that is going to be the place where they're going to be focusing in on and really pressing the pace. I think, and then on the downhill, you can rest so much for so long and just get a really good super tuck that I have a feeling that they can really just burn a lot of matches on the climb out there today.
So these splits are nicely spread out, aren't they? 10K, 20. I'm having a little trouble with my graphics here, but is that 20 and 30K that we're looking at there? I believe it is for our splits that we'll get
real quickly. It is going to be 26 and then 36K. 26 and
good.
36K. We'll go ahead and let's go ahead and jump in with one of our athletes here, and we'll get a couple of the. We'll see if we can get some of the graphics off of the screen out there today. We did have a little bit of trouble with removing some of the stuff out there. So we'll see if we can get some of the extras off for everybody as we try to click around a little bit more. Let's take a quick look, though, at the course records as they stand here. And this is going to be Socks for Watts are holding down the course record from the last time that we did this, as you can see. And it does look like Team Pio Auto, who we have not seen out here for a while, 53-58. I think both of these times are going to be very difficult to take down out here today. BRT Chasers. I mean, this was at I think the last time we did this was at one of the peaks of the amount of teams that were jumping in. It was during the spring and when it was really a huge influx as well. I think from the pandemic, and so. I think the reality is that today it's going to be a tough one to set new course records. A lot of times we do get new ones set, but this week I think it's going to be a little bit different. I think they're going to be chasing these hard.
I agree, Nathan. It's interesting. I don't expect to see records being set. You're right. There is a real ebb and a flow to the season, and we're just about to start getting back into ending the ebb and beginning the flow, I would say, as that's all big picture stuff. But certainly we're going to have some really close races out here today, which makes way more exciting for all of our racers out there. That's where you really squeeze out that last tenth of the final percent. You don't go deeper in the pain cave. I got to give this team some credit right here, Nathan. Vision really well organized. You can see we've talked a lot about the formation that your team stays in. It's really about, as you want to carry momentum and carry the speed, this looks pretty slick out there right now. So this is going to be, again, the Vision team. We'll spend a lot of time with them out there today. You can see that nice mix of nationalities. Nathan, as we always have new viewers each week here for the WTRL, quickly explaining 8-person team time trial, time taken off the fourth rider's wheel. Another thing that's always really interesting is the fact that this is the Premier League broadcast. So these are typically the best 11 teams that you see from the previous week's racing. So it's all based on, it's what have you done for me lately in the WTRL.
Yeah, and let's real quick here, Dave, if we want to go through what we've seen so far yet today for these are going to be results that have already happened. And go ahead, Dave, could you help the viewers by explaining the zones and how things work out and why there's already some times and what these riders are chasing throughout the entirety of the day, not just in the Premier League this time slot specifically?
I'm honored that you trust me with that now. I feel like I've come a long way in this world. So we, Nathan, are really lucky. The fact that Zwift is a worldwide platform. So we can't expect everybody to race at one certain hour because for some parts of the world, that might be 4 a.m. or just absurd for racing. So to try to facilitate a global audience and the competitors, we have 9 different zones, adding the Premier League. So you'll start early in the morning there. And that zone 1, which has already competed, zone 2 has already raced as well. We have then ultimately, after we finish the Premier League, there's quite a few more races that will take place before we finally finish that day and are able to determine who the teams are. So usually in the Premier League, you're going to see, the rich get richer. And generally, I would say on average, 8 of the 10 teams will requalify to race again the next week. But you never know, and you have to start somewhere. So looking at all of the different categories here, this is the latte group, and you can see the fastest time of the day there at 1:04. Eat Dirt Towle here for the Mochas has the fastest time at 1:14. That's a long time to stay in team time trial formation, Nathan. So, yeah, around the globe, we have different zones to try to get as many athletes a fair shot at it.
Yeah, 100%. Great explanation there. And as you can see, as we jump in with the Wonder Women, they're going to be chasing down then that time that we saw set earlier today in Zone 1. There's also Zone 2 and Zone 3 that go on right around there, right around now as well. Hurtbox Hornets with a 1:12.53. Now, looking at the best time that's ever been set as the course records go, though, I do expect this to most likely be challenged, that 1:12, because with the 59:37, even though it being Sox or Watts, Wonder Women and a few of these other teams, I think, definitely have the ability to at least challenge within a minute or two of the Sox Watts course record that has been set in the past.
Yeah, Nathan, I would dovetail onto that Wonder Women have been pretty close to cracking the code. For a long time, we looked at, well, I don't know if I'd say a long time, as we're just coming up on our 69th edition of this race. It happens every single week. It is really amazing that this entire process with almost 3,000 races, as I was talking about the ebb and the flow. I mean, they're sometimes we will have 3,500 racers out here spread out over, obviously quite a few different teams, sometimes over 400. So it's quite a phenomenon that we're looking at. But this is one of the teams that's trending in the right direction. And Daniela Istrate, we're looking at their Romanian rider. I haven't seen her name in the WTRL. She's definitely been out here before, but it looks like maybe we are starting to see some of our old favorites coming back. This is going to be a rider that we are embedded with there in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, Monali Keller. Big engine here, Nathan. A motivated rider, a smart rider, knows how to use all of the tools. And let's take a look at the ride that they're having today, because Wonder Women is definitely going to be in the mix. Sisu, can't wait to see how they do. And then you got the Aero Unicorns, which is reinforced with a couple of the A-team riders joining that squad.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and jump forward here and see if we can see where things are at for the Army ladies here at this point. It does look like we do have the Aero Unicorns, though. As you did say, it is got a couple of extra additions out here today. Withrow has jumped in. Bexy Dews jumped in here. Leah Thorvaldsen as well. So and then we do have Felsteed here, 189 beats per minute, taking a pull at the front. So with the addition of a few of the ladies from the original Sox Watts, I have a feeling they're going to have a little bit better time, maybe even challenging the OG Sox Watts team that's going to be starting last.
Yeah, it's interesting, Nathan. When I hear you put it that way, throwing
Oh,
names
excuse
like
me. Did I get
Bacchus
that incorrect, actually? Is this only Aero Unicorns today, then? Because I'm looking at
so
the
it
start list,
is,
and I'm seeing
but they
only Aero
combined.
Unicorns. Got
See,
it.
they
Got it. Got it.
combined teams. That's what happened, right? So just sort of emergency measures as they weren't going to have enough because most of the riders in the United Kingdom are doing other racing in real life this weekend. So, yeah, and actually, when I hear you say that, though, that's some real horsepower that we're talking about. Bacchus, Thorvaldsen, they've been cornerstones of what has been Sox for Watts. Want to thank No Pins as well. They've been really jumping in and supporting teams and the WTRL. So we really appreciate that as we take a look now at Shaw with the Z Sun R. Nathan, much like Vision, this is another team that has a real pedigree.
Yeah, 100%. And Z-Sun, they've been super consistent each and every week. They're always right around that middle of the pack, and it's really good to see them fully committed to the racing each and every week. The Hypernovas here. Now we are going to jump in though with Pamela Levine. Levine, thanks. We got corrected. I've been saying Levine for so long, actually. So
it's hard to change.
She's hammered. It is hard to change. 168 beats per minute. Looks like she's keeping things steady. I think it's not a turn to take a pull at the front. She did say she is communicating on Discord prior to the broadcast. We were chatting with her a little bit. She's like, all right, we're going to take these headphones off for chatting with you guys. I got to talk to the team now. And that's somebody who's definitely motivated to get things right amongst the team. Loving the I Race Like a Girl kit in game as well. And definitely looking like a true esports team hammering away. As it looks interesting that what she chose out here today, though. She chose one of the fastest bikes when it comes to the flats, but the wheel set is for climbing, it looks like. So that's interesting to see.
Yeah, so right, I was noticing, Nathan, Vision, a team that's been around for so long, almost all of those riders must be over level 40, right? When you look at they're on the Specialized with the disc and are deploying some, what I think you've convinced me is the fastest bike for a course like today for sure. So all right, as we pick things up here, Nathan, I have to say that over the last, let's say 2 months, Sisu has been the bridesmaid. They have been the closest challenger consistently. They have racked up quite a few silver medals along the way. I can't imagine, Nathan, that there's a team hungrier in amongst all of the nearly 400 teams that we have racing today, hungrier than Sisu. These ladies
but
have
they're
to
still going to be
really, really
challenged.
want
I
it.
mean, Wonder Women and
Oh,
Sox
yeah.
Watts Unicorns have picked up with Sox Watts Unicorns picking up this extra talent this week. I think we're going to have a much closer race than we have in past for that top spot, and I think it's going to be extremely challenging. And so this is really going to heat up toward the end, I think. And now you do see Pamela here now taking her turn to the front. It looks like up and out of the saddle a little bit, trying to get the watts going, making sure the speed is high. Anytime you do see that speed, it is all about speed. Come underneath, or the watts per kilogram, come underneath what you're comfortable with to keep a high amount of speed. You're losing seconds. You can almost see in the face there a little bit of that, okay, come on, ladies. We really need to hold on. We said 45K all the way through here, or whatever that marker, that benchmark that they had set up for themselves. So...
yeah, and that's where you're probably hearing, get that wheel. Come on, get that wheel. Here we go. And
look at how
tough.
she did
it really
that
is.
there. Did you see that?
Yeah,
complete
nice
rest, and then go ahead and jump right back onto the back here. And she's got plenty to work with, it looks like.
She knows the game.
She'll get right back on.
No doubt this is a smart rider who knows the game. No question, Nathan. So here's my prediction today. I'm not going to make a bold call for a winner. I am going to say that we see three teams within 20 seconds of each other after 42K. I think it's going to be that close, especially with the amazing amounts of information that you can get, the pacing strategy or the schedules that these riders have. They know what they're doing. Most of them are going to know this course really well. I love it. This is going to be as good as it gets out here today, and we are just getting into it. 11.5K into what's going to be a rugged 42K out here today. You got the volcano
Yeah.
climb, you've got reverse climb. It just doesn't quit.
We're jumping back in with the Vision Squad, as you can see here, and it looks like Vision DPAC, they're currently sitting second place overall, 12:57, a 1 second difference here in the espressos between Team ODZ. Between the spread of them, it's going to be 3 seconds, but as you can see, 12:59, 12:57, then Evo Extra Turbo Snails, I'm loving the name, Extra Turbo Snails, are out there with the fastest time at 12:56, but the question is going to be all about the climb when it comes down to it. I think they're going to be reserving, and anything extra in those seconds that we see in the difference between those riders at this point, I think is really going to be about who has put too much out to grab a 12:56 or grab a 12:59, 12:57, and who has something left in the tank for the climb.
Yeah, we want to be clear. We're not the turbo snails, those wimps. We're the extra turbo snails. So, hey, I wanted to shout out the Ravens and the Rockets today as well. I don't know if the Ravens are racing today. They're more of our Australian crew that includes our colleague, Carly Taylor, world-class triathlete. We do have the Rockets, though. Steve Beckham and his crew down there in Long Beach are going to be giving her. I don't think they race in this zone, but they watch this broadcast. So good luck out there today, Rockets, racing out of the headquarters there. Always fun knowing that, anytime, Nathan, that you visit Zwift, there are people Zwifting at work on their lunch hour. It's just awesome to see people who really embrace it. So this is going to be Guerra that we're jumping in, world elite Zwifters. Now, not entirely Portuguese, but there's a pretty strong Iberian influence on this team, although we saw one of their Belgian riders having a great week last week, but here we go.
Yeah, and that's a good point, actually, about Zwift HQ. Not only, are there people Zwifting? If you want to Zwift, you got to get in on the calendar. They have an entire have an entire room full of Zwifting. But if you even want to Zwift, you need to put your name on a calendar in order to get it, because there's so many people using.
It's harder to get on Zwift than it is to get a conference room.
This is very true, actually.
Yeah.
Looking through here, there's more conference rooms than there are bikes, I think, set up. But
that's true.
Looking through RK Lions here with a solid time so far as Rowe and King, the Rowe and King team, and that's named after Luke Rowe and Danny King and their coaching group, and they're hammering away here. Look at all those flags coming out of Wales and then Great Britain. Obviously, we know where they are from in the world here, but it's going to be White leading things out at 5.0 watts per kilogram in this espresso group right now. Currently sitting in 7th place, though, with the 1320. Are they reserving a little bit? Look at the 1240, though, coming through with the Vultures. I think the Vultures, were they the fastest team last week? I'm looking through. No, they were 9th seed. The fastest team was the World Elite Zwifters, with the coming through for 10th seed. So we'll see if Vultures can hold on, but they are in the lead by 8 seconds over the WEZ team.
Yeah, so again, nice to see these splits starting to come in. Long day in the saddle, but the Cryogen team, we talk about the numbers with WTRL. Well, Cryogen, it's mind-blowing. And I've seen, Nathan, in some of the forums, it's a really welcoming team, too. You got to remember that not everybody's an elite rider. And so for someone who's in that D level, or frappe, whatever it might be, finding a team is an interesting process. I actually will probably ask some of the riders about how they figured that out. But getting on board with a team that suits your style, your energy level, that kind of thing, it's always really, really cool when you find the right fit. And Cryogen helps people do that in a big way. And I've heard from multiple folks that they really have cracked the code on how to welcome new people into WTRL.
Wanted a quick question to Martin. We do have Martin on board with us from WTRL. He doesn't have his WTRL polo on. What's going on here,
Mothership.
Come on, we need from the mothership here. But I wanted to ask. There's a question coming in from social media, and people are wondering. And we're going to go ahead and bring in Martin. Martin from WTRL. Good to see you, Martin Carew. This is the guy behind the scenes that makes it all happen, along with Steve Milliken. Martin, I wanted to ask: is steering open in this event right now? That is coming through right now. Do we know if it is open? Can people use it?
I believe it is not supposed to be on, but I think at the moment it seems to be enabled for most racing that's going on at the moment. But I know that there's an attempt to get that switched off. But
Gotcha.
as far as,
Gotcha.
we're aware, obviously the steering in a team time trial could be quite interesting. But we certainly haven't chosen to have it on at the moment. I don't think there's enough people out there. I certainly can't get hold of a Sturzo in Canada to save my life. So we're third world up here.
well, thanks, Martin. So that was a great question. And then anytime you do have any questions that might be able to go specifically at WTR, they are hanging out in the background. Martin, appreciate all your work, and we'll get on with the racing here. So no steering that we know of. We'll be on the lookout for it. It becomes pretty obvious when you see it. I spotted it really quickly with
Within
James
2
Hodges
seconds.
on Tuesday. Yeah, it was super obvious. And yesterday I was actually a part of a group ride where I just started playing bumper cars. I mean, you could just with the riders. So it becomes pretty obvious when it is steering. I haven't seen too many riders at this point looking like they are veering away from the usual pack dynamics that we've seen in the past, though.
Well, to be honest, you and James are the only 2 people that I'm aware of even having one right now. Obviously, the first production is just getting out there. So, Nathan, we've got a long race out here today, 42K. People are really interested in this. Can you give us a quick tutorial on how you think this is going to change Zwifting? If everybody has one, what is that going to do to the game?
Oh, I think it's going to be completely change the tactics, like totally change the tactics of the racing. The reality is that what I experienced on Tuesday when I used it in the S7 stage 1, I did the Innsbruck, the climbing, the ability to find a wheel and know that you are hanging onto that wheel with your steering made it so you weren't continually doing this guesswork as to whether or not your avatar wanted to go by or not. You knew what it was doing because you were steering it at that wheel. It didn't matter if another avatar was doing what it was doing or going by or how it was. The other thing that made very real and very apparent was that the need that you have in real life, where if you exit the peloton, you are most likely going to the back. You are not going to just come back in. And right now, currently, all you got to do is put out a certain amount of watts in order to fight for that spot in the pack, but you can't exit and go up ahead. But if you do exit, you're taking the risk of not getting back into that peloton easily. So it really changes things up where you have to make choices at the right times to position yourself well. You can still power your way through the pack in the way that you used to, that you still can right now. You just up the wattage and then the avatar moves around it if the game believes you're putting out that amount of power that you want to get by that other avatar, or you're doing enough to get by that avatar. So you can still do that like you would move up through a pack, but that's kind of a waste of energy once you have steering. So things really change up about being able to use your energy at the right times and making good decisions about how to do that. I think it's going to completely change the tactics. That one little thing, the ability to just leave the slipstream, to leave somebody holding onto your wheel and attack off the left, and then them having to follow and then weave off to the right. I mean, we were messing around with it. And if you do have a Sturzo, you can create meetups right now with steering on. And I think we've actually been talking about creating some ZCL community broadcasts that are specifically, do you have a Sturzo? Jump in with us and let's do a race that is a meetup, because we have results in meetups now. First 100 in, and let's see what happens. So it's going to be really cool, and we'll experiment with it, because that's my ideas, but let's see how it actually works.
I love it. What a cool process. So, Nathan, the name of the game here was always fun. That sounds fun to me. I think the fun quotient will increase for a lot of riders when you start incorporating that. But again, and I'll wrap up my thoughts on that. We'll get back to the racing here, but I think it's going to be interesting when you start having haves and have-nots. That's where it gets to be a challenge. So I love your concept of getting Sturzo people together and allowing them to be in an all Sturzo group, or is it Steerzo? I'm wondering.
That's a good question. That is actually a really good question. I have.
We'll get that at some point.
Idea,
Nathan,
actually.
You know me, man. I'm always about 6 months behind the current thing. But anyways, this is we're picking up our man Kristen Moat, 3R. This is a great squad. They raise money and awareness for the wonderful World Bicycle Relief folks. Just unbelievable the good that they do, and let's keep supporting them as this team does. This is Modi.
Yeah, Kirsten Mode here, as you can see, hammer weight 4.2 watts per kilogram, looking pretty steady. I saw him up and out of the saddle a couple moments ago. He's gave me a little bit of a thumbs up. I think he's feeling pretty good so far. 160 beats per minute, a little bit of 500 watts here as they come over the top.
He's not feeling good.
So as you come over the top of a little bit of a climb like that, or you hit these little climbs, do you see how important it is to keep the speed high, though? Now as they come over the other side, 47, 48, and you can roll on through. So this is the team, though. They've been dominating. They were the top seed from last week. We'll see if they can hold on to that. They're 1 second ahead currently of Z-Sun Jupiter, and then it's going to be Two Gods at Rim, and then BRT Triple Bears. And the split, we're looking at, look at the splits here. I mean, this is so close. It's only 20-some seconds here, Dave.
That kind of day. Look at this, folks. Get ready. Buckle up. We are locked and loaded because, Nathan, right now we're looking at 1 second between our top two teams. Race 3, our Fleetwood Mac, who we are embedded with today. That's going to be Z-Sun R, the Jupiter squad, just 1 second back, and then only one more second back to Tuga Z Rim, and then only 7 seconds back from our leaders there for BRT Triple Beers. This is unbelievable. Only 4 more seconds back. Now, it is flat. It's steady going, but this just shows me we're going to have an absolute Donnybrook going on. So Evo Vortex 1, that's at 13:30. Only 9 seconds back is the Alien Express team from INC, and then the RNK, that's Roe and King Gazelles, sitting at 13:42. They're still in the mix. And Nathan, the real climbing comes at you about 22K in. So they're about 4K away from starting up the volcano climb.
Yeah, let's go ahead and a couple of shout outs to all those in chat. We do see you. We do have, we're seeing, this is a great little bit of information here. May 7th, we're being told by Nordy over at the YouTube channel, letting us know that that is the last time that this course was on. And all the records were set, minus Mocha, were set then in May. Thanks a lot, Nordy. Appreciate that. We're being told by Jamie Tracy that I wake up at 4 a.m., and that's why we're not seeing Jamie Tracy, because she's getting ready for, Christy Tracy is not out there because she's racing in the Invitational. So we are seeing a couple of teams missing out there today, and good luck in the off-the-map race that starts at 4 a.m. for them. So that'll be interesting. Big shout-out, it looks like, to Jamie Clark in the Wonder Woman today. Happy birthday from Cryogen, Lauren Dees, Andrea. Thank you so much. It's always cool to see the support in the community, Dave.
Yeah, hey, and I would even say, hey, Jamie, that's how the Australians feel often when they race with us, right? So now we get a little taste of the same medicine, I would say. But my heart goes out to you. 4 a.m., pretty hard to get your engine running, isn't it? All right,
100%. Jeff Duncan over at the Twitch channel here. Go ATP in the latte, and there are 2 other categories. We aren't able to get on screen today, but big shout out to the lattes and the mochas, and thanks a lot, Jeff Duncan, for jumping in. James Hodges letting us know that steering is enabled, and lots of chat about the Sturzos, so that looks like it's something people are going to be interested in, so we'll definitely get some shout outs into the socials and other places about when we will be doing some live meetup racing, specifically with steering and Sturzos, with the aim of jumping in there. So let's go ahead and take another look, though, at the current splits right now, as it looks like, as we stick with these guys. Still that 13:42. Let's go ahead and jump back over to the Viennas then, though, as we'll see how things are playing out with them. It looks like
Holding
Whoa! It's closer than usual, though. Look at this. We've got exactly what you were saying there, Dave. It is a close race. Sisu, Wonder Women, Sox or Watts.
This is as legit of a bike race as you are going to find in our 69 editions of the World Tactical Racing League. So Sox for Watts is pressing on. Nathan, when's the last time you saw? Well, so remembering it's a modified team, but only 3 seconds back to the Wonder Women. They are highly motivated, and then nipping at their heels, Sisu. They're still only 17 seconds out of the lead right now. Z-Sun R with that 14:32. You go back to 14:50 for the Cryo RDT Wrens. And then the Flying Tortoises sitting there just 1 minute, 1 second back. Okay, that's Monolith
Big shout out to the Tortoises. Big shout out to the Tortoises. They've been chomping at the bit, I think, for quite a while. I've seen them in Zone 1 for a while, and Zone 2. The other zones, and maybe it's because they needed to race at that time. I'm not sure what was going on, but a lot of times I saw them in the results from other zones doing very well in the top 10 to 11. Shout out to them for being in the Premier League this week and holding on solid here within a minute of the fastest time still too.
Yeah, I love that. And again, so this week we're sort of at a
Look
low
at Keller
water
pushing
mark.
the pace. Look at this.
So she's a beast, a beast. I mean, like that, Nathan, when they say, what do you mean when you say wattage cottage? Let me just reference you to this woman right here. That's an efficient rider, too. I like the cadence. I mean, that's what you call pressing out the watts here. So, yeah, we've gotten to know Monnalee Keller. She's a Canadian from Eastern Canada, actually. That's the old Nova Scotia, right? Not a dense population base out there. But what they do have are really salt of the earth, tough people. Like Halifax, Nathan, if you want to be a fisherman in northern Canada, you're going to be a tough person. So Monnalee is cut from that cloth without any doubt. Also a brainiac, highly motivated Microsoft employee, and a leader without any doubt. And this is the Wonder Women team that we're talking about here, Nathan. So they're within seconds of the lead. They're in the hunt. It is a real different feeling, a different energy that you have when you're on a Team Time Trial squad that is within seconds versus riding a couple minutes out. That's when you're in the doing the best that you can. We're in the finding another level zone today. This is where champions live. This is really going to be great racing here. I can't wait to watch. About halfway into it today, 42K. It's out and back again is the course that we're racing on. And they're about to start the climb here, Nathan.
So as we just a quick little shout out, going to show it here. Natalie here letting us know everybody who is in the team out here today. We do have live shots of Monnalee Keller there, but it is also a big shout out here to Tina Grobler. It looks like Jamie Clark. It looks like V. Nguyen is in there. Kristen Yax, as you can see. Beyond Towle. It's going to be Natalie Lawrence and Yana Rick Trova. So that is the team of the Wonder Women. Love these shout outs that are coming in through Twitter. If you do want to bring us any images of the riders, like Natalie's doing an amazing job for the team here, you can go ahead and tweet us at ZCommunityLive, at ZCommunityLive over on Twitter, and we can bring those on in. The suffering is about to begin, it looks like here, though. We're in the volcano.
WTRL has officially arrived in the big time when teams have press agents. It's a new era out here. And you know what? I love it. And I know you appreciate it too. That communication is always welcomed. So please don't be shy. The more we can learn about you out there riding, I don't care what level you are at. If you want to reach out, please do. So again, Wonder Women, they're in the mix. What a great feeling. They got all 8 riders, Nathan. They are a squad right now. Same thing with Sisu. All right, so this is Pamela Levine that we're talking about, jumping in with her. She's down in Silicon Valley, Northern California. Again, what a well put together rider here. Clearly has a great focus.
Yeah, super. And I think they're really, really organized. I think that they, looking at the efforts here from Pamela Levine, she looks really under control at this point. I have a feeling that with the time that they're currently setting here with Sisu, I think that they're keeping things under wraps. They may be 19 seconds behind, but I get the feeling, looking at the control in Pamela at this point of her effort, that some of these riders are reserving, as we had said, specifically for the climb. I have a feeling that they're going to bring back a lot of time here just from watching this effort from Pamela.
Nathan, if you can bring all 8 riders over the top of the climb and feel good about the tempo that you set on that climb, you're going to be in really good shape. That's the name of the game now, going just hard enough that you can keep everybody together because, well, let's talk about that gameplay aspect, Nathan. Having that team together when you hit the descent makes a big difference, but how big of a difference? Talk about that for us.
Yeah, the reality of snowball effect. So there is a huge snowball effect, both in real life and as well as in Zwift, as it's just raining. This is interesting. Is there more steam going to be coming off the volcano as the rain comes flying down on the Vision riders? As we're looking at Daniel Pettinger here. They've got a solid time so far. But the reality is of coming over the top, each one of the riders adds to the snowball effect of pulling through a little bit more momentum with that avatar, with the weight that they're bringing, with the speed that they're bringing to the front of the pack on the downhill. downhill, cutting through that wind and bringing the speed that they're gaining from behind. Think about how that works. The rider at the back is gaining speed as they come through. They don't have to put any effort in for it, and then they go to the front with it and pull the rest of the group along faster and faster and faster. So the more bodies you have for that super tuck, the better it is. You do see the push at the front here. Tettinger just trying to hang on. Look at the suffering. 180 beats per minute, 379 watts. There's the effort now. Now they have to continue on to keep the speed, though. It's not over at this point. This is actually almost where the suffering continues. And really, the reality is you have to go all the way around at the highest speed you can, or you lose huge amounts of time. Look at Saunders push the pace. I mean, look, they're still suffering in Daniel's face there. It's not over, the climb.
Oh, Nathan, and this is the toughest thing about it. The strongest rider on the team has to learn how to feather this and keep working with the group, because once you go clear here, you're no longer, you're not part of the chain that's working together. So this is the finesse that makes team time trialing so special. And then you'll see the overcorrection starting to happen. So getting this thing back together again, this is the most challenging part. The riders that are struggling, they really have to dig deep. It takes, you really have to have your brain on overdrive out here. The focus is super important. We'll see.
Look at them all getting the super tuck. Look at this. Look at the Daniel rests up here.
They've dropped 3 riders, though, unfortunately. Let's see how far. I can't see from this angle. Well,
just getting back on terms. Looks like they're just getting back on terms here.
Yeah. So it's challenging, no doubt about it. These guys doing
Look at the
really
split
good job.
again. Ooh, it's tough. It's so tough because the speeds get picked up here. But those riders, if they do have an effort to kick through, if they come through with a lot of speed from behind, they'll keep the speeds going higher and higher. Really, though, if they were doing this well, I mean, it's a little bit of a little bit of a critique here. 65 to 70 kilometers per hour is possible if you have a rider come from the back and continue to sprint through and sprint through and sprint through.
Yeah, they're going over the top and over the top, right?
Exactly. And then going into super tuck, though. Sprint through into super tuck. Sprint through into super tuck. It's kind of this rhythm that you create.
Absolutely. And let's be honest, that's the PhD level of this, right? That's when you've got not a couple of your 8 riders, but all 8 or 6, whatever the number is in that your group that remains, that are on the same page and able to really execute high-level tactic out there. So that's the name of the game.
We can't have too much critique, Dave. 35:09. Fastest time so far, but WEZ, they are right on their heels, I believe. We'll have to wait and see. But they've got a crazy fast time right now. So Pettinger and the rest of the crew here, as we have them live on board, all
things considered, no doubt. I mean, yeah, they're a minute 9 faster than the next team, ODZ, out there. So they might not be perfect, but they're damn good. That's for sure.
Doing very, very well here at this point. So
and now they got
it.
Now you can see.
Race.
You can see that looks like they're going to lose 1 rider out of the team. Do you soldier on with 4 or wait? I wait at this point. 5 with 1 rider just trailing the group here. Tough call.
I think Morgan's done, though. I mean, look at the watts per kilogram. I think Morgan is completely blown. Well, he's trying, but at this point, the amount of waiting you have to do on a downhill here, they are going so much faster. Waiting right here, and the speed you'll lose, the time you lose, my opinion, no way. On a downhill, you never wait because that's the most amount of speed.
I hate to say it, we might be looking at some indecision right now.
I know, and that's the worst that you could have.
Right.
You need to have a captain that makes
problem.
a choice at the moment. Yep. Boom, go.
Even if it's the wrong call, sometimes it's better to have a unified call at least. Well, I guess the wrong call is going to be worse, but ultimately you'd rather go with the right call. But that being said, they're down to 4 right now, although they do have a rider right behind here. So yeah, you're getting a good look at why this is challenging. And Nathan, I would only imagine when you first show up at your put your front wheel on the line with your 7 teammates, there's got to be a lot of question marks in your mind about how this works. And obviously Discord and communicating is a big part of it. And in real life out here, it's exactly the same thing. So got to be honest with your teammates too. When you're struggling, you don't want to try to put on a front out here for your teammates. They're your teammates. So, all right, we're back with, let's see. It's Ride 3R. Blur.
Race 3R Blur. This is a new team to me, actually. Good. Interesting to see them. And they've got a solid time so far, currently sitting in 5th at 36:46. They've been looking right at Rowan King Lions, though, at 36:49, 3 seconds behind them, trying to chase them down. They've got about 12.5K to go at this point. Evo Extra Turbo Snails, after the climb, they were in first place, and we talked about this. Extra Turbo Snails. They went out seventh seed. It looks seventh. Went out seventh. So they were one of the top seeds. It looks like fourth seed, I think, of the week. And Extra Turbo Snails there had the fastest time before the volcano. And as we said, we thought the volcano was going to be the deciding factor. And you can see it right now. After they hit that 26K mark, all the times are in here at this point. And WEZ, it looks like are about 20 seconds, a little bit under 20 seconds, 18 seconds faster than Vision. But it's really Vision versus WEZ and Cryo RDT Vultures. But who put too much into the volcano is going to be the next question. Who's got something left when we hit the flats now with about 10K to go?
Yeah, and smooth as fast on this descent as well. So look at this, though. We got ourselves an interesting race here. 34-51 for WEZ World Elite Zwifters. Vision D-Pack, though, that's only 18 seconds back. So that's right there. Cryo RDT, the Vulture, sitting at 35-18. That's another 9 seconds back there. So 3 teams within 30 seconds at that second checkpoint, 26K into 42 total kilometers of racing. This ODZ, I should say, they're slotting in at fourth. Evo XTS, the Extra Turbo Snails, there they are right now in fifth. And then it's the Blur, the Rowan King Lions, the other WEZ team, and then Los Torpedos rounding out our top 9 right now. That's Espresso that we're looking at from checkpoint 2.
And let's go ahead and jump on over in then with the Frappes as they are just leaving the volcano here. It does look like Christian's getting a little bit of recovery here at this point. It looks like it was some serious suffering, though, up and over the top. We are trying to get the volcano graphics off. They do automatically populate, so apologies on that. As soon as they do come off, you'll be able to see this a little bit better. But Race VR Fleetwood Mac, they are holding steady. 10 seconds ahead of Two Gas Rim, and then it's going to be the Innovation Alien Express there. 8 seconds back from Two Gas Rim. So a separation here. It was only 3 seconds or so heading in to that volcano, and now it is separated back out, though, as you can see, as it looks like Race 3R Fleetwood Mac put everything they had into that volcano climb and were able to grab a solid 10 to 20 seconds over their competitors.
Yeah, what I like here, though, Nathan, if on the 37-minute time, you've got, well, there you go. We got a tie. I love it.
Oh, it just came in.
Yeah, Tuga Z Rim there with the 37.41. They are deadlocked right now with 3R Fleetwood Mac, and that is Kristen Moat that we're looking at on screen as he is digging deep here. So he is on a team that is virtually tied right now. Alien Express, Nathan. Well, okay, things are jumping around a little bit. I apologize, but these times will update. You can see 37.49. That's only, you're within 20 seconds there if you're Alien Express. Wow, only 2 seconds behind them is Evo Vortex 1. Nathan, look at this. It is full throttle out there today. So they're coming up on 30K in. So we're moving into our finale. Boy, this is going by really quickly out here. We have the closest races across all of the categories that we've seen in a long, long time, if ever.
Yeah, and I want to take another quick look here. We're looking at the times here that were set as the course records now. And to remember this, Frappe here, 57:18 was the time for this Frappe crowd. So they have, if they want to set a course record, they're currently the fastest out on course, the 3R boys. Evo's right behind them, though, only about 20 seconds or so. And at 42 minutes, they need to close down 12K. Can you do 12K in 10? Let's see, how much time do you think they got about? No, 15 minutes? 15 minutes, 12K?
Yeah, you can do 50. Yeah, that would work. That'll be close.
It's going to be close. Frappes. And that's Evo. That's Evo Vortex. So this is Evo.
You're not going to do 10K.
This is the team, at least the team brand that set that. And now Race 3R with Christian that we're looking at on screen here. So if we go back to Christian here, he's the one who's on screen. They're looking to challenge Evo's time for course record and take it out here today. But look at, they're starting to communicate. It's the downhill. They know there's not a whole lot to do here. But now it's going to get into a conversation about how we challenge ourselves over this next 12K of flat.
This Race 3R Blur team is a Dutch diesel 3R WTRL collaboration squad. They're usually in zone 7 or 8. We were talking earlier about the zones later in the day. So they are really crushing it out here, Nathan.
The Blur team here, yeah, with the check marks here, these guys?
Yes. There we go. That's the team I'm talking about, R3R Blur. They're going to be really competitive here. So Yeah, I mean, they're down to about 8K of racing remaining as we get a chance to look again, all of these different categories out here. Today, we're jumping in with the frappes a bit as well as our standard Vienna and espresso. This is going to be a 34.52. So we were looking, okay, so you can see here, it's only 1 second separating Cryo the Vultures from ODZ. 34.51, we're calling it for WEZ Vision now. So, yeah, it looks like they're sitting about 18 seconds back there, Nathan.
Yeah, and the times here, as you can see with Team ODZ, they are starting, they were not in first place actually at the last check mark. They were just one of the first ones to go. They were the first team to get out on course here. These were the times, so we'll go ahead and change that up just a moment. You can see they came through that checkpoint, the 36K first, so they have a 49.27. They were actually in fourth place, though, as they came through the last checkpoint. We'll see how WZ can hold on here. Vision, we're on their heels. WZEZ, though, they tend to be very dominant. They were the fastest team last week, so we'll see if they continue on. Vision, though, they are looking to challenge, and Vision actually, I think, are starting to get into a little bit of climbing here as well, as I'm going to go ahead and jump in.
It's a little lumpy.
Actually, they're starting to climb here. They're right behind Blur, actually, here.
Yeah, so if you look at the course profile, after you get past 35K, it's either flat, just a little bit, a tiny bit of climbing. I wouldn't even call it climbing, just little lumps, little pimples. And then you drop down and flat to the finish line. So you can expect them to be absolutely hauling. Just keep it together, boys. Smooth is the name of the game right now, and you just can't take your eye off the prize out here, Nathan. It is so easy, these little kickers that you hit, to blow your team up.
Yeah, we are getting a couple of requests to take some looks at the other categories that we are not covering for live shots out there today. Well, we definitely want to give a shout out to how things have played out between them. So let's go ahead and quickly head on over to the lattes and see how things are playing out currently. ODZ, it looks like 40.15. And Kirchner East Cycling with the 40.29 at the 26K mark. And then ATP Racing Nitrogen holding down to 40.43. So Team Type 1 Lancet's there as well. It looks like 41.08. Solid effort there with Team TFC 41.38. It's about a minute and a half, maybe a little bit more between all of the top 9 teams in the lattes, Dave.
Yeah, last week was the first time I think I ever saw 10 teams all finishing within a minute of each other. That was quite incredible, and it speaks to the quality of racing. The higher caliber, the closer the times are to each other, the smaller the difference is in ability. And what that really speaks to then is how much are you willing to suffer, how organized is your team, and how are you operating as a unit out there? Because that's, again, for those of you that are just joining us here, this WTRL format is tried and true, something completely unique that our friends Martin and Steven had just built from the ground up. And now as they've refined this process here, these teams are getting better and better at this, Nathan. It's pretty rare that we go back. So sometimes we race on a course we've never been on before. Usually when we show up at a course that we've raced on before, you see the records being shattered. Today, probably a little different. We might see a few fall, to tell you the truth, but because of the participation is a little bit lower right now than what we're going to be seeing again picking back up. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody does crack the code out here today, Nathan, and end up with a new course record, a TR, team record as well. So you know what I'd be interested in, Nathan?
Real quick. In golf.
Good.
And then Team Type 1, it looks like, right behind them, lost catch-up, 46.54. So it looks like in golf are actually walking away a little bit this week. Interesting.
Strong ride.
That's really interesting to see. I was actually not, usually lost catch-up as well as TFC are at the head of this, but it looks like 45.48. That is a huge time gap over the top of the climb. We'll see if they can hold on to it here. GC Scrambled Legs, Team TFC Lancaster, Adam Racing Team. The splits really start to go out. So in golf are kind of walking away with. I wonder if they're going to be asked for an upgrade. That is so fast. I mean, with the 45, 48, 45, 49, as now changes up just a little bit, but they're really walking away with Team Type 1. Well, Team Type 1's on their heels, but it's not even close compared to the Frappes and the Viennas and the latte, etc. Crowds.
I don't know if they need to ask for an upgrade. I think I'm just going to give them one. Looks like
We got to talk to Martin about the rules there.
yeah.
We're just broadcasters. We're just the broadcasters. Loving it.
But again, that's what we're talking about, though. By the time you're looking at that check, and this is only 26K in, then you're all 4 minutes faster than some strong teams. Yeah, and again, they got their act together, didn't they? This out and back again course is a challenge, and they're on the back again part of this course now, Nathan, as they start to motor their way home. They've got 5 riders, so there's a little bit of wiggle room as we look at this division team here. I'm curious, Nathan. I know you've got a million things going on, but at some point, the Vienna women, I wonder how that one is going. Is it as close as I thought it was going to be out here? We'll find out in just a moment. Let's take a look at the espressos here again. Right now, we're getting more. Oh, thank you, Nathan. Jumping in is okay. Here we go. Wonder Women are having their day, and Nathan, they're pouring it on. Take a look at this. 38.25, that split coming in. 39.17 is going to be the time. So, a little more than 50 seconds back for Sisu. I Race Like a Girl. So, yeah, Wonder Women cracked the code out here today, Nathan. It looks like Socks for Watts Aero Unicorns, 39.59. Z-Sun, Flying Tortoises, Cryo Wrens. That's your top 6 right now. So not as close as I thought it was going to be.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, Wonder Women, I'm going to take a look here, but Monali Keller, let's go ahead and jump on over with her. This is Pamela Levine here, really hammering away. Look, there's some communication going on, trying to get back on terms. Okay, Kessler taking a little bit of a pull. Ramsey there as well, trying to get things all back together here. 3 ladies. They still have a climb, though, up ahead of them. That is going to be the reverse KOM. We'll see what Sisu can pull off over the top of the reverse KOM with I Race Like a Girl here team, and it's going to be interesting to see if that's going to bring back any kind of timeout here today, as Legler, it looks like, leads things out, continues to press the pace, though. Let's go ahead and jump on in with Monali Keller. She really looks in control of her effort here at this point, to be honest. Up and out of the saddle here, the pressing here now, though, but, I mean, now on the face here, now up and out of the saddle, so 180 beats per minute, but right before hitting this
they're
climb,
making a pass.
they're full on right now, catching Cryo RDT just ahead of them, and now they're going to have to press on and go past pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah, this is probably the best place to do this right now because they are motoring here. They're going to get by nice and clean. So like a hot knife through butter right there. Motivated Monali Keller here out of Seattle on our screen. Okay, so Nathan, this has got to feel awesome when you finally put it all together. And it looks like the Wonder Women are doing that. They got to drive a few more nails home, though. We're not done yet. Looks like they got another team to pick off here.
Yeah,
Crazy.
It does look like Hypernova are going to be caught as well. So the Wonder Women, they've shown up this week to just absolutely dominate, it looks like. And they saw an opportunity, and they are completely capitalizing on it. And Monali Keller here with these live. Look at the suffering on the face here. The pain is real, that's for sure, in this pain cave here. She continues on, 4.2 watts per kilogram current, 181 beats per minute. The rest of the team right in the strip stream here, holding on to that speed. And I think they're starting to walk away with this one. I think the confidence is really just exuding off them now.
Monali Keller is making so much power that all over the Pacific Northwest, people can't get their microwaves to work. She is dimming the grid with this effort. Holy cow. So, and Nathan, look how well organized this. So this is the day the Wonder Women have arrived. So I can guarantee you that Claire Good and Lizzie Duncombe and company are sitting in the United Kingdom, in London or Wales, watching and saying, oh boy, next week we got ourselves a battle on our hands. So that's what it's about. Again, you're only as good as your last race on the WTRL format. You're looking at, this is not the gold standard today. This is the platinum standard. Daniela Istrate there, the Romanian flag. Nice to see that beautiful flag here as we're going to watch this process of a team overtaking here. It looks like they're going to get this done nice and clean. I hope.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Really?
And, Wonder Women here, just, I mean, the motivation is so obvious today. And they have, week in, week out, I've seen them posting on socials saying, so close, we've been right there. And it looks like this week it's going to happen. It's not said and done yet, though. Sisu's still chasing, Soxwatts are still chasing, very experienced teams. But I think the reality this week is that with the amount of time that they have gotten and the confidence that we see and the speed that they're pulling here at this point, it might just be out of reach for the other teams for that top spot now.
We start with 8, time off of the fourth wheel, over 42K, 2 pretty major climbs, volcano and the reverse climber behind them. This KOM that we talk about, one of the most contested KOMs on Strava, week day in, day out. So many people ride in this world, the Watopia world. And we're looking at the Sisu team now, and I've got them in a solid second at this point. It looks like, Nathan, I don't know. It's going to be, I think 59 and some change is the best time on this course. It'll be interesting to see how close the Wonder Women are to that time. Z-Sun are coming in now with a 55.15. I'll look for Sisu to hold on in second, and we'll get a split from them in just a moment here. Remembering that we start a reverse seed, so our fastest teams start last. And interesting, but you don't see it too often, Nathan, with the length of the course and the effort from the Wonder Women. They've gone by a couple of teams out here today. Pretty rare.
Fastest time set in espresso all time. The fastest time course record is a 53:58. I'm not sure that's going to be challenged today. I'm seeing the fastest time from Relentless so far is a 56:06, 55 something. It looks like, and some change. It looks like from the Vision team. There it is across the line. Solid effort coming in from. Look at that across the handlebars.
Wow.
Great job, the Daniel Pettinger, as you can see. Amazing job, as you can see. And now it's going to be back in with our other live riders on board. Let's go ahead and jump back in with the man himself, Modi, as Modi continues on. And then Pettinger, it looks like, is going to get a little bit of a rest here. The suffering is real. You can see as they finish up here, it just gets like you... The back end of a crazy threshold effort. There's that reality. You know, it's like you start in, okay, it's not so bad. It's not, oh, it's starting to get worse. It's starting to get worse. Oh, the stuff. And then it's like that RPE, your scale of perceived exertion. It starts at like a 5 and slowly moves up to a 6, a 7, and 8. And now
10.
you're at that 10 and you try to hit 11. I mean, that's the reality of these kind of team time trials, I believe.
Kristen, I know there's a little more in there. I think you're at a 9.2. Come on now. I like this guy, man.
Smile.
I'm a fan.
You got to smile. Good job. I like it. Two guys, though.
Fun.
Look at two guys. Two guys are kind of getting a little bit of a get. I mean, there's 3 seconds now. They've got to work for this still.
Yeah, and this is why, I mean, okay, you want to become a better athlete? Do what my man Kristen Mode is doing right now. Dig deep. You know, buck up, folks, because this is hard. This is not for the weak of heart. This is only for the elite athletes. And I love this effort being made. Nathan, they're within seconds of each other. And whoever wins this one, they were willing to hurt more. And that's a big part of what endurance sports are. All of that work. But then in competition, you got to find a razor's edge too. This is great racing today, Nathan.
Amazing racing out here today, coming from two guys in race 3R. We'll see how it ends up playing out, though, here. Evo is out there as well, too, with the 51:30. So they're a little ways ahead here at this point, but they've really got some disorganization going on here, it looks like, within the Evo. Only 3. Now, they do have 4 riders. Hick just hanging on, it looks like here. Thorne's there as well. So this is still seconds on the line to try and hold on to, because Innovation, Alien Express, they were right on the wheels as well. It looked like Alien Express dropped off from some riders tactically, too. So Z-Sun, Jupiter, they've already come across the line. They've finished things up, it looks like. So we'll start getting results coming in. Two guys, Rim, 51:16, 51:19, and then Evo Vortex, we're just about 11 seconds off race 3R. So still a battle going on here, coming to the line. They've got to put everything on the line. It's up in the air. It's almost like you don't know what the other team has brought back. You just got to put your effort out there. And that's one of those things when, like, you have that unknown and you have to put an effort into the unknown that really tests an athlete.
Absolutely. And that's why we do this. That's what competition is all about. Nathan, this is going to be really, really close. So Tuga's Rim right now with that 3-second advantage on race 3R Fleetwood Mac. And that's our man, Kristen Mote, that you're looking at. He's on the Fleetwood Mac squad. And then Evo Vortex, they're still absolutely in the mix, only 14 seconds out. Although it gets really, really hard as it's mostly flat. It's completely flat out there right now. Just 1-2% grade, the most that you're going to see from this point on to the finish line here. It's hard to make up 14 seconds on a team that remains motivated, and it looks like that's the case here as we roll along with our race 3R Fleetwood Mac squad. So, all right. everybody's a winner out here as far as when this one is done. There's going to be pools of sweat, but some real accomplishments being made. Certainly, we're going to be seeing some PRs being set out here.
Look at Modi trying to hang on, pushing to the front here, 4.5, grabbing a little bit of water. That's going to be his last swig, that's for sure, as he makes his way to the front, or just trying to hang on here at this point, at least adding some speed to the other avatars. Every little ounce matters, because that speed he just gave to those other avatars, they can actually use that one extra body if they're able to still push through. So every little effort at this point matters. Holding on, though, to the wheel, it looks like, of Stevie and Dano, who's at the front now at this point. He's pushing on at 4.9 watts per kilogram, as we look at Modi, though, continuing to suffer at 160 beats per minute as he sits in about third wheel. Let's see if he's got a sprint to the line.
Yeah, he's playing a big role out here on the team, taking his turns, that's for sure, as he goes up to the front right now. Keep it going, guys. Almost all these guys on their Tron bikes. There's some real dedicated athletes here on this squad. So, Nathan, when this one is done and dusted, when we put it to bed, it's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, we might have a tie out here. We might be looking at the count back on tenths or hundreds of seconds when this one's done. So that's what it's all about here.
Yeah, and we're gonna finish up with these guys here. Monalee Keller and Pamela Levine will jump back in with them for the Viennas in just a moment here. They're about a half a kilometer and a kilometer separation between them and this race 3R to the finish line here at this point. We are seeing Modi here now starting to ramp it up. They're into that sprint section. Right now you can see the right-hand side there. There's a little bit of marker they'll go past here, and it's going to be a push on from Crow Marty here for 6.9, 188 beats per minute. Christian trying to hang on to his teammate's wheel. We'll see if he comes across the line here with the rest of the team, and these last seconds are going to matter for those splits.
Yeah, boy. And this is where you're now just trying to wring that last watt out as they come across the line. I mean, look at the speed, over 50K per hour, 52 kilometers per hour as they bring this one home. Job well done out there. Now, is it enough? That last split, which is a little stale now because that would have been about 6K, and that's your finishing time. Let's go with the 59:03 or so. It'll adjust.
Now the Wonder Women coming to the line. You see Monalee Keller. We'll get her on screen. We still got Kristen here for just a moment, but Monalee Keller up and out of the saddle.
He's collapsed.
Now, as you can see, completely collapsed. Now it looks like Keller here pushing on with her sprint, trying to get as best time as they possibly can. And the splits, as you can see, Wonder Women 52:05. Oh, they walked away with this one. Wonder Women showing off the capes that they have earned this week. That's for sure. Big smile on the face here coming from Keller. Smile and grimace, I think, is they're going to come across the line.
If these ladies go any faster or have any kind of wing, they're just going to lift off of planet Earth and start flying. I mean, look at Keller right now. I mean, other riders, Nathan, they look like they are just cashed. Not Monalee Keller. They are surging. They're looking to go. They do it under 1 hour out here today, and the Wonder Women have officially arrived on the top step of the podium. That was a beauty.
Now Levine here finishing up their ride here. As you can see, they're within about a kilometer of the finish, 1,200 meters or so. Levine here, 183 beats per minute. And it looks like it's going to be led up by Jewett as well. Sox Watts Unicorns there. They're also coming to the line, as you can see, and they're currently holding down third place. We'll see if there's any change up in that, but I think that Sisu did hold on to a solid second place because that difference was about a minute plus at the last checkpoint.
I thought the Wonder Women would be good. They were just great out there today. And certainly they've made their mark. This will be the WTRL that I think is going to launch them into orbit. Nathan Sisu, I ride like a girl. 53:25. They're at that 36K checkpoint. They're just about done here. Let's finish up strong here, ladies.
Yeah, and,
fun being with Pam Levine. She goes by Pam on this team because they've got a Tamara, so they don't want to miscommunicate out there. But Pamela Levine is a classy racer, that's for sure. I love this squad. They'll be back. They're going to have their day.
Yeah, they will. I think keep on working at it here, and I think maybe perhaps favoring some of. I mean, they were top seed, I believe, this week. So maybe the more of a pure TT or riders, I would have it because I do believe Sisu comes with a lot of triathletes as well, and so I have a feeling that they have more of that steady tempo, and maybe the undulation in here put a little disruption in their abilities.
100% agree with that, actually. Carly Johan, a very strong rider on this team as well, as I see her right in the mix. She's going to be a part of a winning squad at, in the not too distant future. One of the things that I love about WTRL with Steven and Martin is that they're so dedicated to this that you know that this is going to be around. We're in a long run right now.
Yeah, and
All
as
right.
they go ahead and come across the line here, we're going to take a look at the results as they do come in. Solid result here, though, for Levine and the rest of the crew from the I Race Like a Girl Sisu team. But I believe that the Espressos are just coming across for most of their results. Let's take a look at them as they do come in. As I believe Martin's going to start giving us whether or not we do have them official. And I think this is going to be it. WEZ, though, brings it down with a 54.41, but the fastest course record does still stand with Team PO Auto, Dave.
Yeah, well, they made a run at it, that's for sure. So World Elite Zwifters taking it out here. Let's take a look at this, though, because you can see the other time zones really came into play today. So Vision Deepak racing with us here, 55.27. That'll put them in at second. Cryo RDT Vultures, they also were racing in this time slot, the Premier League, but out of time slot one, Relentless. Fourth fastest time of the day. No doubt they'll move into the Premier League if they choose next week. Wild Dogs out of zone 2. They're in 5th. Then you've got Team ODZ, Rowan King Lions, Race 3R Blur, CMC Express, and the Evo Extra Turbo Snails, rounding out our top 10 for the Espresso category. Another congratulations going out to the aptly named World Elite Zwifters. Not middle of the road Zwifters. So here we go. This is going to be our frappe category with the Evo Warriors.
Whoa! I was not expecting this. I'm just going to double check.
Don't
Martin,
see that.
Just real quickly. Martin, is this spot on here?
That's
because I was not expecting this from the Evo Warriors. I thought for sure. But it's zone 1, so it's out of zone 1. That's why I was wondering.
That's the first time I've ever seen that before, although maybe it's happened before. I haven't watched every round, but Nathan, have you ever seen a zone 1 or 2 team win in the or have the fastest time? They didn't race. They raced earlier today, but exact same course. So that's really interesting. 10 seconds faster.
Awesome job there by them. So real quickly here, Dave, I'm going to go through Evo Warriors there. Race 3R. Premier League, it looks like 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, exactly as we saw it playing out. And it was a very close race, though, between them. Only separated by about 10 seconds between 2nd place and 4th place. Innovation, they ended up fading away 40-plus back. WMZ followed up by Evo Vortex 2. These are going to be the results, though, mixed in a little bit, as I think some of the frappes are still out on course. So we'll have to wait and see if some of them still come in. But that's for sure going to be our top 5 at this point. Now, remember, the rest of the zones are going to be playing out throughout the rest of the day. So there is still the ability to challenge things up. As we'll let you take it away for the next look here at the Viennas, Dave.
Great. Let's take a look at the Wonder Women just at that 1 hour, 10-second mark to take the win in the Viennas. That's, I believe, their first win. It must be. Congratulations, ladies. I wish you good luck now, as you are now the champion standard. Sisu, I Race Like a Girl. They'll take another 2nd place, but they should take some motivation out of this one, as that will be a 101.31. Then our Socks for Watts Aero Unicorns, the reinforced Aero Unicorns, riding into 3rd today with a 2:25. Good work, women, ladies. Then our Z-Sun R Hypernova squad ending up in 4th. Cryo RDT Wrens in 5th. The Flying Tortoise is 6th. Dirty Rascals Rise, Evo Comets, Hurtbox Hornets, and then rounding out your top 10 would be the Australian Hump Day Ride Ladies Purple Armada 2 team. Now, they were, you see some Zone 3, some Zone 2, and some Zone 1 currently sitting in our top 10 right now.
And let's go ahead and jump on over to the lattes and give them a little bit of love here that they definitely deserve, as it looks like ODZ, solid there, it looks like, coming from them, Dave.
Yeah, 102.43 for the win. Kirkmeyer, E-Cycling 1 out of Austria with a 103.09 for 2nd. ATP Racing Nitrogen in 3rd. The mighty Lancettes, Team Type 1 Lancettes in 4th today. Eat Dirt 2 in 5th. It's going to be the Team TFC Hornet Squad in 6th. Then you've got the Vikings Valhalla, Los Fanaticos Team TFC Raptor in ninth, and then the BRT British Racing Team Tequila Chasers in 10th. So that's our latte category. Thanks for being out there and racing. And again, you see a nice mix of zone 1, 3, and 2 jumping in there. So every week you see teams looking to raise their level. We'll look at the Mochas now, and this is going to be Eat Dirt Trois taking the win. Congratulations. That's
I
sweet.
think that's just from zone 1. There's a lot of them out on course still, and we'll get back with them if we can before the end of the broadcast.
I
But
see.
still zone
Right.
1 here, as you can see. So everybody, there's still the Mochas out on course at this point. But don't forget, guys, next week looks like we'll be back out in France with number 70 for it looks like France course there, 1 lap. Number 70. Make sure to sign up or next week. To be a part of 451 teams, approximately 2,700 racers that were out there today. So you can jump in with all of them next week. Registration closes 7 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Central time on Wednesday. So let's go ahead and jump in, though, with Pamela. Pamela's waiting for us here, it looks like, and an amazing result there. Dave, why don't you go ahead and take it away here? But this is Pamela Levine, and a little bit of chat about how things went today. Dave.
Yeah, first off, Pamela, is there anything that you do that hurts more than this hour of racing each week? You've been an awesome competitor. Is this as deep as you can go?
I think so. It definitely hurts. I'm a time trialist, so it's a familiar length and feeling, but it's painful for sure. It helps having teammates, though.
I'm so curious about the communication on the team. I mean, talk to me about how that really works. What is the information that you're getting and giving that makes the biggest difference?
Well, I don't know if I should give away all our secrets. No, but we use Discord, and we've got Tim Snow helping us out, watching, being that director sportif. But the 7 or 8 of us are all talking to each other as well. And we're saying, Pam up, Pam back when we're dropping back. And I'll do 30 seconds, I'll do 45, stuff like that.
So it sounds pretty structured. How much did having that climb in their volcano climb today, how much does that change things versus racing on a let's say a pancake flat course? Is that good for you guys? Bad for your team? When I talk about throwing in a pretty significant climb.
So we were happy to have the longer course today, an hour. We got all triathletes and me, a time trialist, on this team, so we like those long days. But the climbs definitely throw a wrench in things. We try to keep that long pace line for most of the time, but for any of the climbs, we do more bunching up because we don't want to get those gaps.
Talk to me about what the credo of "I race like a girl" is all about. How did that all start? Who came up with the phrase?
I got a shout out to Angela and Amanda. They've been really leading this team, recruiting members. We're going to have our second squad out racing this evening. So we're really trying to build it up. And we're really trying to have a core set of women, who are here every week. It's so key to have 8 riders, which is hard to pull off. But we really want to keep it to our group because winning feels so much sweeter when we've achieved that together, and it helps for the dynamic in the pace line too.
Well, I wish you good luck. It is really fun to follow along. So Pamela Levine, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you out there next week.
Thanks to you both. This is always so much fun, and thanks to WTRL as well.
Well, thanks. Hey, great. So Pamela was there in Silicon Valley. Now we're going to go up the Pacific Coast to beautiful Seattle, Washington. Are you at Microsoft headquarters right now? Or are you deep in the bowels there in Redmond?
Well, I'm at home right now.
Good. So, hey, great job today. You guys have been working. This is Monali Keller that's joining us. Monali, tremendous amount of work has gone in. Congratulations. Talk to me about how it feels just getting it all right today.
Oh, it was awesome. The teamwork was just incredible today. Everyone rode so well, and we leveraged each other's strengths. It was really fantastic.
So I'm super curious about your background. You know, we've recognized you as one of the top Zwifters out there. If I had a badge to give out, I would certainly give one to you. You've been a motivator. You've been a connector. Talk to me about your background. I know you're from Eastern Canada. What sports? I mean, clearly you did something in college. Were you a soccer player?
Yeah, I played varsity soccer and varsity basketball in college.
So
and then I learned to.
now.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, thanks. Yeah, so basketball, soccer, team sports, but there's something different about the WTRL. Talk to me about what attracted you to this format, because it's not for everybody, only the tough people, it looks like.
I really love racing with a team, actually. I love teamwork. That's why I loved team sports in university as well. And I do a lot of mountain bike racing, which is pretty solo, but I like the relay races too, because I don't know, there's something for me that's super motivating about racing for other people versus just racing for yourself.
You know, and one of the things, I appreciate that. One of the things that I really have enjoyed about following you is that you have a coworker that you race with, V-Win. Can you is there an advantage that you two have at work or in real life because you do this together? There must be a trust factor, a respect factor for sure, because anybody who can do this with you, you have to look at a little bit differently than just somebody else in the cafeteria.
Yeah, definitely. I think the teamwork requires a lot of trust and a lot of communication. And if you know people, obviously that trust and communication goes a lot smoother.
If you had met another cyclist who was interested in doing this, how would you even give them advice to start? What would you do? I mean, not even a high level racer, just somebody who says that looks like fun. Where do they start?
I think just start by finding a community. I think that's the most important thing, because a good community will encourage you and help you through no matter what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get really fast or just have fun, but the community support, and I think that's what's so amazing about Zwift is you race and you ride with these women from all around the world that you've never met in real life, but you've made connections, which is pretty amazing. And so I think for me, the best advice would be get connected to a community that supports you and leverage that support. They'll help you with knowledge. They'll help you with whatever you need. Community's everything.
You have some kids, and they certainly look like they've got energy. Have they ever? So are they one? Do they understand what mom is doing, that you're racing against people around the world? So that's the first part of this question. And two, how are they eager to get on Zwift themselves? Are they watching you right now? Or they're probably home or schooling right now. But
yeah,
what's their impression of what?
They're relegated to the house right now, but they do like to watch sometimes and cheer. And they've been in real life races too, so they kind of know what it is. But when my 3-year-old comes out, if I'm Zwifting, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. She's like, "That person's passing you, Mommy. You have to go faster."
I would imagine that even gives a little more motivation, like you needed more.
Yeah.
Well, great. Hey, what time of the day do we usually find you out there on Zwift? You have a big job, a family. I can't imagine how you do all of this. Are you an early morning Zwifter, a late night Zwifter? What's your
early morning?
game plan?
So I do a lot of 5 a.m. days. Yeah.
Well, Monley, it is great.
Sorry.
Right. Obviously, the racing hits you right in the middle, right around lunchtime there in the Pacific Northwest. So, well, hey, you are inspiring, and make sure you tell all of your Wonder Women teammates how impressed we were. Looking forward to you ladies having a good run. Great.
Yes, they were all amazing. Thank you.
Well, that smile was well earned, Nathan. That's Monley Keller there, who part of our winning team today. I could talk to her for hours. These are the athletes.
It's absolutely awesome. The backstories, and that's where we need a magazine show and something. That's where we need more of a talk show. Maybe we'll have something like that. I think there might be conversations about that happening. So we'll see. We'll see about. We'll get Dave talking a lot more about those kinds of things. So just real quick heads up, everybody. There are a couple of events this weekend that I did get a heads up on. Saturday, 8 a.m. PDT, 4 p.m. BST. There is an event specifically for steering with the Sturzos for all owners to test it, as well as Sunday, 12 a.m. PDT, Pacific Daylight Time, 8 a.m. BST. That is going to be, well, in the middle, midnight for you guys. But those are the two, midnight for PDT, but 8 a.m. for BST. You can check those events out specifically. I did just get a heads up of that. Zwift HQ are saying, hey, go do that. And they're also really encouraging, do some meetups. So, and we'll do that here on ZCL as well. Today, though, WTRL is done for the day. Number 69 is over. Number 70, make sure to sign up for next week. You can check out all the results over on WTRL.racing. If you want to rewatch the broadcast, you're just tuning in. We have all of the VODs for all of our races, all of our broadcasts on our YouTube, our Facebook, as well as our Twitch. Make sure to hit those follow buttons, subscribe, turn on your notifications, do all those cool things so you know anytime that we go live. And Dave, we'll see everybody next week for the Gravel Series, number 2.
That was awesome. Thanks, everybody. Right on.
Thanks, everybody, as always. Great job, the racers. Thanks a lot to the viewers. And we'll see you next week. Right on, everybody.